So let's just keep going. So you ought to download the tracker. I'm gonna have it as a link at the bottom of the podcast. And you want to begin with your baseline measurements across all the 5 tests. And you want to identify your strengths and your areas that you need to improve. You monitor your progress, and again, you celebrate your achievements. Again, when I can lift something that I couldn't lift before, uh, I celebrate. Okay. So research shows active tracking and targeted interventions can improve biological age markers by 5 to 10 years compared to chronological age. And I will tell you that I feel that 5 to 10 years younger, and I can show you some of the metrics. Consistency matters more than perfection. Even small improvements translate to meaningful enhancements in independence and quality of life. Okay, so you don't have to make these major changes. Don't expect to lose 20 pounds the first, you know, 5 days. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so just have some realistic goals. Think of this as a lifestyle change. It's not something that I'm just going to do for 2 months and then I'm going to go back and eat my Twinkies and sit on the couch. You have to make a lifestyle change. Okay, so just think of this is something I'm going to incorporate into my life daily. This is not optional. All right. Now, this is my trainer. This is a guy named Drew. And about I don't know, it's like 2 weeks ago, uh, he was like, I need to take a picture of you. You're one of my best students. You come in, you do what you're supposed to do. And you know that old saying, when the sun's out, the guns are out. I got guns now. All right. I told him when I first started working with him is that I want to be able to go to the beach and not be ashamed to take my shirt off. I would see some guys on the beach and they'd have these big beer bellies and they're just walking around so proud. And I'm like, wow, these guys are really self-confident. I'm not that self-confident. So I told him I want to be able to take my shirt off at the beach now. I I still do it sparingly, but I'm not self-conscious about it anymore. So that was my one little goal. And then after that, I was so it was such a habit for me. Now I don't want to miss. I worked out while I was here. So it has become a lifestyle for me. And not only do you want to measure your body, well, let me go to the next slide. I'm gonna come back to this one. All right. This is I have a body composition scale uh, at home, and you can get this off of Amazon. It costs $50, $60. Anybody we have on a weight loss program that we're doing long distance, and they're not coming to the office, we ask them to buy one of these scales because not all weight loss is good weight loss. All right. You want to make sure that when you're losing weight, you're losing fat and you're not losing muscle. That is so important as you age that you don't lose muscle mass. That's why I'm so proud of that picture because I have gained muscle mass and I can measure it and I have measured it. So I think, okay, yeah, this is visceral fat. So this is the fat that can kill you. All right. This is the fat that's inside in your omentum that carries all of these toxins. And over the last 263 days, my visceral fat has gone down by 7 pounds. And that's probably the most important thing for me, okay? Is that dangerous killer fat I've been able to decrease by 7 pounds. Uh, that's probably what I'm most proud of. And how did I do that? Probably by changing to a plant-based diet. I eat meat very sparingly, and usually, if I do eat meat, it's some wild caught fish. But the plant-based diet I mean, that's just a part of me now. It's not that I try to resist having meat, I just don't want it. And it helps me to control my weight. And you can see in a plant-based diet, my muscle mass has increased by 5 pounds over less than a year. That's not supposed to be really possible. Okay. That's why my trainer was so proud of me because uh, I had gained this muscle mass by working with him. And at this age, that's not supposed to be very common. And this is my skeletal muscle. It's gone up by 10%. So I'm very proud of that. And I keep working it. I don't want to see any dips in it. So I do this. I usually weigh myself every 2 to 3 days, and I want to make sure that I'm on track with this. All right. So I'm not bragging, but I'm just telling you this is something that can be done. And I only go to the gym twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I go for an hour. That's really all I do. Now, I do expend some energy out in my backyard. We garden, we plant roses and stuff, and that's probably my daily exercise. I go out there and do that. But this is just 2 times a week I've been able to do that uh, to accomplish this. So it really is more about consistency. I tell people you don't have to do 4 hours of CrossFit, 8 days a week in order to improve. It's all about consistency. So let's go back one slide. Now, the other thing that you want to measure, and I told you I'm very concerned about my mind and my brain because of my mother's dementia. And she also had a brother and a sister who also had either Alzheimer's or dementia. And this is the Muse headband, and I'm a big proponent of that. I just, in my ageless tip of the day that I put in the school group, I talked about how important it was to be still and be quiet. It stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the opposite of the fight or flight nervous system. And just 10 minutes of activating your parasympathetic nervous system allows your body to reset and repair itself. So this Muse headband you put on your head, and it tells you when your brain is quiet. All of those little blue birds down there says that my brain was quiet. Now you see it says I have 33 birds and 16 recoveries. What that means is that what mindfulness means is that you're mindful that when thoughts cross your brain and you're able to let those thoughts leave and you don't dwell on them. So you're not, so a thought comes like, oh, how am I going to, you know, do I have enough money for my house note or whatever? Just let that pass, recover, slow your brain down. Don't go down those rabbit holes of anxiety and panic. How do you control your thoughts? The secret formula is that if you can control your thoughts and you can control your breath, your heart rate will go in rhythm with that. All right. So that's why breathing, when they meditate, they talk about focus on your breath. And this is cognitive performance. And again, you have good days and you have bad days. This is today. This is May 28th. This is what I do in the morning. Okay. I'm telling you, when I'm telling you I have a routine, I have a routine. So today it was great. Now I'm going to tell you when you really do deep meditation, I have reached this optimal level when I'm really focused and I do more than a 15-minute meditation. So this is telling me that my cognitive performance is great. That is very, very important to me. And then you look here, it's brain recharge. Am I overworking my brain? No, I have my sleep last night, my meditation has allowed my brain to recharge. Okay. So I love this. And if you, I'm going to have a link to this. If you go to choose muse, muse.com/ageless, you can go and purchase this and you get a 20% discount. So it's, what did I say? Choose, CHOOSE, muse, MUSE.com/ageless. And you can get this and you can do it and you can track how well your brain is working, and it allows you to know if you're meditating correctly. I also talked about just the act of being still. I was still 84% of the time during those 15 minutes. And this I've had to work on, is being able to not be fidgety and want to move. So I sit in this position, I stay there, I focus on my breathing, and I let my thoughts pass. I don't dwell on negative thoughts, and I don't and I try to invite positive thoughts. That's how you get these little birdies to show up. When your brain is, and what you'll have is you'll be listening. When you're thinking, you hear rain and it sounds like a thunderstorm if you're really thinking. And as you quiet, the rain goes away and the birds start to sing. And your brain can start to get trained. And I can do it willingly, is that I know how to slow my brain down. And it actually looks at these brain waves. And I think I'll do a whole lecture on talking about brain waves and how you can get into these different states to do different things. You want to have a different type of brain wave when you're trying to reset your brain. You want to be in delta or theta or alpha. And when you're doing work, you want to be in beta. And when you're frazzled, this is where you don't want to be.